Greetings, this is your public speaking instructor, Kate McCain, and I'm here to go over module number 3 with you, the second informative speech. This module runs from June 1st to June 7th. I'd first like to start by congratulating all of you in completing your first informative presentation. My goal is to start watching those presentations today and have them graded so you can get feedback from me as soon as possible. Some of you commented on having issues uploading to MediaShare, and I will be sending out a document that explains how to compress file size. Because our speeches are so short in length, we should not be having any issues uploading to MediaShare, so it might be due to the type of file that you're saving it as or the fact that you need to compress the file size down. So let's look at module number 3, the second informative speech. Module number 3 overview. You need to look over the learning unit on the second informative speech assignment. Again, I strongly encourage you to start with this learning unit so you know what's expected for the second informative speech, which is due on Sunday. You need to go over the learning unit, which covers chapter 13, and review informative speaking. You need to go over the learning unit for chapter 7, which talks about using supporting material. And you need to cover the learning unit on chapter 11, which discusses delivering your speech. I recommend working through the learning units in the order in which they are listed on the course module timeline, because this is how we teach the chapters in the classroom. However, if you prefer to work through them chronologically, that is fine as well, as long as you complete all of the assignments in module 3 by Sunday. Important due dates for module 3. By Wednesday, June 3rd at 11:45 p.m. Central Time, you have the second informative, specific purpose, and central idea assignment due, so I can review your topic and approve it. By Friday, June 5th, you have your draft outline due, so I can give you feedback. As a reminder, the draft outline is not graded. However, if you do not give me a rough draft outline, it is a -5 points to your speech. By Sunday, June 7th, Module 3 should be completed. All discussion board posts and any assignments should be done. You also need to have your speech uploaded to MediaShare by Sunday, June 7th at 11:45 p.m., unless, of course, you're in the group for the Adobe Connect session where we do them earlier in the day. Also, by Sunday, June 7th, please note you have your first exam due, and we will go over the exam as well in this presentation. Assignment overviews for module number 3. Learning activities. Of course, you have that specific purpose and central idea assignment, which is due early. You have a learning activity in the chapter 7 learning unit. It talks about information literacy and citing sources. This assignment is very helpful and useful in working on your second informative speech. I would strongly encourage you to start this assignment early. It'll help you with your speech rather than waiting until Sunday. And then, of course, you also have the draft outline due early as well. There's only one discussion board post due for Module 3, and again, it focuses on the Chapter 7 learning unit on supporting material because that's such a critical part of the second speech. The first exam. Your first exam is due at the end of Module 3. The exam will cover chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 12, and 13. So please note in Module 3, you are going over Chapter 7 and Chapter 11. They are not on the first exam. Those chapters will be on the final exam. The exam is multiple choice. You may use your textbook and the PowerPoint slides listed under the Course Modules tab to help you complete the exam. The exam is timed. Once you start the exam, you have 90 minutes to complete it, so you cannot start and stop and come back later. You have to complete it within that 90 minutes allotted. The exam will open on Friday at 8 a.m. and it will run until Sunday, June 7th at 11:45 p.m. This is more than 48 hours and it should give you plenty of time to sit down and find time to take this test. Now let's look at the guidelines for the second informative speech. The second informative speech is 4 to 6 minutes in length, so we've increased by 1 minute. Your purpose is to inform your audience, and you may choose any topic of your choice. But remember, this is informative. Do not tell us that we should or should not take action. Do not tell us that something is true or false or real. Those create persuasive arguments. All you are doing is teaching, telling, and informing us about an object, a place, a person, an event, a concept, or an idea. The only stipulation is you may not do a process or procedure speech because you did that for your first informative. You must use supporting material for this speech. This is something we're adding now. And you are not doing any type of audience analysis. So if you see in any reading something about an audience analysis, please ignore it. We do not do this in the online course. Let's go over supporting material guidelines because it is such a critical part of the second speech. You need to read over Chapter 7 on supporting material so you understand different types of supporting material. For this speech, you must use 3 different sources. You cannot just simply only use the internet and Google your topic. Different sources include books, magazines, newspapers, interviews, journal articles, internet sources. Yes, you may do all of your research online because you can find books online, newspapers online, articles online, but I don't want you just to use websites for your speech. You have to use different sources. You must orally cite 5 pieces of supporting material from those 3 internet sources. Supporting material are illustrations, which are examples, statistics, which is any type of numerical data, numbers, dates, percentages, that type of thing, and opinions. And opinions are quotes or testimonies from somebody. Again, this terminology is found in Chapter 7. So how do you say these oral citations? Because you were required to use 3 different sources for your 5 pieces of supporting material, you will have a bibliography with your outline. You must use either MLA or APA citation guidelines. You need to actually cite things appropriately because this is a college class. So I am actually listening for you to orally cite your supporting material 5 times during your speech. So that means out loud, you will say your supporting material. So how do you say it? If you find a book, you need to state the title and the author and tell us that it's a book so we know. If it's a periodical, which is a magazine or a journal, you need to state the source, so give us the magazine or the journal name, tell us the date, and then tell us the author. If you find a newspaper, you need to state the source, so give us the name of the newspaper and the date. If you use an internet website, you need to state the organization or the sponsoring agency of the website and the date you access the information online. This is because sometimes on the internet, we don't know when information is posted. It doesn't show us when things were recently updated. So if you tell us when you did your research, that helps us know it was accurate. Do not say the web address. I do not need the web address. I simply want you to say the organization or the agency of the website. Let's look at some examples. For a book, you might say, according to Jones, the author of Readings on Gender, stated. If you have a periodical, again, you need to give us the source and the date. So you might say, Time Magazine on March 28th, 2005 explains. Or you might say, Smith, the editor for the New York Times, on June 5th, 2006 stated. Here's an example of an internet. The Department of Homeland Security website, accessed on February 26, 2014, supported. Or you could say the Center for Disease Control website, accessed on February 3rd, 2014, includes information which says blah, blah, blah. You can see here that it says accessed on, meaning that's the date that the speaker researched this. So that's the day they were online looking for information for their speech. It's their accessed on date rather than like a publication date that you would see in a book or a periodical document. So again, I am listening for you to say in your speech 5 times out loud your supporting material. Your supporting material needs to come from 3 different websites. I will only allow you to use 1 internet source because I want variety, meaning 1 website, just generic.com website. You can do all your research online, but I want you to branch out and not just Google all your topics. Look for books, look for magazines, look for newspaper articles to add variety and depth to your speech. If you have any questions about the second informative speech or any of the assignments due in Module 3, please contact me. And do not forget that you have your first exam that will run from Friday until Sunday. So it's important that you do not overlook that. As a reminder, I do not accept any late work for this accelerated online course, so you need to be keeping up to date. Have a great week.